City boy, city boy.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy, Nate the Great, back with another video. And today we got to talk about something that I've been wanting to talk about. I wanted to talk about it last week, but, I'm kind of glad everything happened how it happened, so that way I was able to get, kind of the full landscape on everything that was going on, kind of get, what everybody has to say out of the way, so that way I can go ahead and throw my 2 cents in on this, okay? And that is obviously the situation with The Rock and Triple H and kayfabe and everything in between, all right? So before we start that, I want to go ahead and just say thank you for everybody for the well wishes. I am out of the hospital, if you were wondering. And, the recovery starts and we move on. You know what I mean? That's exactly what we're going to do. So let's go ahead and jump into today's video. Now, one of the biggest conversations that happened last week was the fact that, Wrestlemania sucked, for one. All right. We had obviously a couple of good matches that happened at WrestleMania, but when it comes to the entire build leading into the event, the entire thing came out lackluster. All right. And there's a lot of reasons for this. Okay. There's a ton of reasons for this. One of those main reasons can be attributed to Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson not showing up for his for his role as the final boss, right? Him not showing up in those last 6 or so weeks to actually build that story and to make it into something that was, actually good, as opposed to what we got, which is just a couple of scathing promos on the audience and a couple of scathing promos between Cody Rhodes and John Cena and a couple bullshit crossroads, right? That's what we ended up getting. But it just felt like we were supposed to get more. And then surrounding that, which is the main event of night 2, everything else surrounding that was awful. All right? Most of the stories, if not 90% of the stories, were completely underdeveloped. All right? The proper care was not put into these storylines. A lot of matches got thrown on last minute. We get El Grande Americano versus Rey Mysterio like the last week before WrestleMania, right? Just things like this going on. So everything was just rushed. And if it wasn't rushed, then it just wasn't given the proper beats to a story and just, like I said, the proper care. One thing that I won't stand for at the end of the day when it comes to this WrestleMania season being ass, because it was definitely ass. One thing I won't stand for is the idea that it's The Rock's fault completely for this WrestleMania season sucking. All right, there were 13 other matches on the card, all right, for both nights, and all of them sucked. Okay, all of those builds sucked. So this one thing, obviously, this would have helped out a lot in the WrestleMania season, but this is not the reason why, why the whole WrestleMania season sucked. And we got to go a little bit further here. We got to go a little bit deeper here. All right, because a couple of days after The Rock doesn't show up, and it's big news all over that The Rock did not show up at WrestleMania. He wasn't there for any of the build. There has to be something going on backstage. I'm gonna be the guy to tell. There absolutely is something going on. There is a power struggle going on backstage. All right, a couple of days after The Rock goes ahead and doesn't show up at WrestleMania, he shows up on the Pat McAfee show, and The Rock laid all kinds of shit down. All right, he laid out the whole Cody selling his soul thing, John Cena being a heel, turning heel, right? He didn't completely, I should say explicitly comment on it, but implicitly he let us know that he was having troubles with Triple H as far as what the creative direction was, and the fact that, you know, the tickets weren't selling for Elimination Chamber, so Ari called him up and said, hey, we need you to inject a little bit of life into this so we can get the last of these tickets sold, right? Now, say what it is that you will about the whole The Rock and Cody with the soul shit. All right, say what you will about it. Did it not make any sense? Absolutely. Okay. Was it completely out of left field and nobody understood what the fuck was going on? Abso-fucking-lutely. But one thing that can be said for sure is that people were at least interested in what happened next. That's at the very least. It actually spawned some kind of interest beyond potentially CM Punk winning or John Cena winning, and when people did not care at all about the women's Elimination Chamber, not even in the slightest. Okay, that's just what it is. That's just the truth of the matter. But The Rock gets on Pat McAfee and he's talking all this stuff, you know, about how Ari gave him that call, how the show, you know, it wasn't selling, so that, you know, by standards, that means nobody was interested, or people weren't interested enough to buy tickets. The Rock was laying directly into Triple H. Now, this is something that I've been kind of expecting for a little while, because the fact of the matter is that The Rock has been trying to do this same shit for over a decade now. He started with the Fast and Furious franchise when he tried to take that whole thing over from Vin Diesel, got his own spin-off movie and all that shit that was okay, I guess, but it definitely wasn't Fast and Furious, right? Got his own spin-off from that, fell out with the whole cast, came back. We all know the story, all right? And if you don't know the story, basically what happened was The Rock came in for Fast 5 during the Fast and Furious franchise. Them niggas did over $1 billion at the box office, so The Rock got a big head. All right, and he wanted creative control over his contract. He wanted the same contract that Vin Diesel had. Just a bunch of shit going down. This motherfucker just got on to the whole thing, and he's already trying to take the whole shit over, was what happened. He did the same shit with Black Adam. All right, it's the same shit. He tried to take over the DC entertainment, whatever universe, right? He was trying to take over the whole thing. Ended up releasing Black Adam, and if Black Adam was a success, then The Rock he'd be way too busy for WWE right now, because his whole power move, trying to get in with the board of directors over there at DC, his whole power move over there, shutting out an entire studio from shooting a movie that would have very much needed him, the Shazam movie that needed him desperately, needed Black Adam desperately. We're like, no, I don't want to fight my actual, comic book nemesis, right? I don't want to fight him. I want to fight Superman. All right, Black Adam needs to be as big as Superman. That's where The Rock was coming from. The Rock is the kind of guy, all right, that has to put himself first and foremost in front of everything. His brand, his image, everything. That's one of the reasons I believe that The Rock got on the board of directors for TKO, and why he bought those shares and things like that he got, is because he wanted to have some kind of say-so, some kind of sway, so that way, once his acting career really started to taper off, which it is right now, his acting career is tapering off badly. You got more, I can't believe The Rock did this, movies that I would, skip over, all kinds of shit, with The Rock's face plastered all over it. The Rock is going downhill. His last few movies have flopped. Red One flopped. The little Santa Claus movie that he just came out with flopped. Jumanji, the second one, flopped. What's the other movie where he was in the jungle? What the fuck is that shit called? I don't even know what that shit was called. He was in the jungle. Flopped. All of his movies lately have been flopping. He has this MMA movie coming out. Then he has the Moana 2 movie, or the live action Moana, coming out sometime. Those are his last attempts. If those movies don't work out, which I truly believe that they won't work out, because people are sick and tired of The Rock. If they don't work out, they don't make the kind of money that they're supposed to make. I see The Rock staging a full-on WWE takeover, and this is the start of it. He's already been having to do some reshoots on this whole Moana live-action film, all right? And that's never a good thing. That means that there's a lot of shit in there that is so bad, they have to go back and reshoot it. This whole MMA shit that he has going, I forget who he's supposed to be doing the biopic for, but it's an MMA fighter. He's hoping that he's going to get the same, goodwill that he got from doing Pain and Gain, probably through this movie. But the fact of the matter is that we know The Rock, he's no longer an actor. He tried to be an actor, but then he acted in one movie that was actually good, which was Fast Five. And from then on, he was no longer an actor. He was now Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Whatever movie you got him in, you got Dwayne The Rock Johnson. That was his character. That's who he was. And now he's pushing his way over, like I said, into the WWE because his brand is dying. People have caught up with the lies. People have caught up with the bullshit. People have caught up with all the movies and movie franchises that this motherfucker is responsible for killing. It's the only reason why he's even come back to WWE, because Black Adam flopped. He had to get some good graces on his side, so he came back, pulled out the final boss character, even though that's not what he wanted to do. Which is another thing, right, that he's very upset with Triple H about. He didn't get his big match with Roman Reigns. And just like the whole Superman and Shazam thing, he didn't want to fight the much lesser star, which would be Cody Rhodes. The Rock knows that Cody Rhodes isn't a star. He knows that deep down in his bones, no matter how much he calls him the motherfucking quarterback or all this extra shit, he knows that Cody Rhodes is ass. He's not a draw. He's a mid-carder at best. He knows this. And he said, you let this mid-card jobber, this fucking jabron, take over the biggest main event that could possibly be, which would be The Rock versus Roman Reigns. Which is facts. That is exactly what happened. All because of the Cody Crybaby movement, the We Want Codys and all that shit, right? Triple H decided to change up his whole WrestleMania plans to appease the internet crowd. Even though obviously that would have been way more box office. And Triple H is a shit booker, because even trying to, like, instead of having Cody lose the Royal Rumble, or maybe win just lose the Royal Rumble, lose the Elimination Chamber, come back sometime later on, SummerSlam or whatever, and try to and shoehorn The Rock in there in some creative way. The fact that he didn't do that and he still had Cody win, that ticked The Rock off even more. So here we are, 2025. We're calling on, Triple H is calling on The Rock, or Ari Emanuel, Triple H's boss, calling on The Rock to inject some life into this WrestleMania season. And The Rock feels some kind of way. So he feels like, all right, look, you didn't do it my way the last time. I need you to do it my way this time. That's exactly what The Rock is feeling like. You didn't do it my way the last time, so now we need to do it my way. And my way is, I want Cody Rhodes to turn heel. That's what he wanted to do. He wanted Cody Rhodes to sell his soul at Elimination Chamber, and they were going to beat down on John Cena. I know this was going to happen, right? They were going to do that, and then it actually would have been, it would have been better, right, for Cody Rhodes to turn heel because nobody cares about Cody Rhodes as a face. It would have been better for the actual WrestleMania season because it actually would have gave people something to talk about. Oh, Cody Rhodes turned heel before the end of his title reign. So that's what he wanted. Triple H was not keen on giving him that. He said, no, why don't we turn John Cena heel? Okay, why don't you see how John Cena feels about that? This, that, and the other. John Cena was like, I guess I'm down, right? But whatever. So all this shit was thought up on the fly. A couple of weeks to a week before the Elimination Chamber. So because it felt out of left field, that's because it absolutely was. It was completely out of left field. But the fact that The Rock did not get what The Rock wanted, which was for Cody to turn heel, instead we had John Cena turn heel. The Rock said, okay, I'm going to step back. After Elimination Chamber, I'm going to step back. I'm not going to go through this. I'm going to let you figure it out since you know what's best, since, you know what I mean, you're the one that needed help with all this shit. You don't want to take my advice? I'm gone. And Triple H is obviously a pussy, so he did not pull up on The Rock to see, hey, The Rock, what can we do? Dwayne, what can we do? How do I keep you on? Because this story needs you because you set it off. Nobody's gonna allow us to forget that you set off this story. And he's right. If he would have said that, but he didn't. He never did. He just went ahead and did what the Hunter always does and makes everything about wrestling. John Cena, I'm a better wrestler than you. That was the fucking route that Triple H took because that's all Triple H has. It's all he has. The Rock knows it. The Rock knows that's not what sells in the WWE. And even though The Rock is a franchise killer, The Rock knows one thing, and the one thing that he knows about WWE is that The Rock used to be a star, so The Rock knows how to be a star. He knows what the people will talk about. So I see in the very near future, because of the things that The Rock said, and because of the way that Triple H has been acting, right? Because of all this shit that's been going down with the lackluster WrestleMania season, the ass ratings that are coming off of Netflix and off of the USA Network and off of CW, I see Triple H, Mr. Head of Creative, being out of this motherfucking company by the end of the year. Hopefully, with any luck, we get this motherfucker out within the next 2 weeks. But then what happens next? I see The Rock coming in. I see The Rock coming in. I don't see The Rock necessarily. I see The Rock taking the position of CCO. That could be something that he does. But I don't see The Rock actually doing the work. I see him appointing, right? What's his face? Brian Goertz. I see him appointing him as like vice CCO. Right? Vice Chief Content Officer. So that way Brian Goertz is the one doing all the shit, getting all the writers together, this, that, and the other. And I mean, of all the things that I don't want to see The Rock be ahead of, all right, because of who The Rock is and how The Rock is, WWE is particularly not one of them, at least when it comes to creative. I think The Rock has a good team around him. All right, I think The Rock would if it's not going to be good, it'll be better than the shit that we're getting now, and that's something that we can look forward to. Because Brian Goertz is actually really good, right? And like I said, The Rock is actually connected with TV writers, with movie writers, TV showrunners, right? Actual showrunners, not the bullshit that Triple H is, not just wrestlers, right? Showrunners who actually know what the people would want to watch on a weekly television series, which is what WWE is. So, like I said, just to kind of wrap everything up in a bun, wrap everything up, Triple H's ass at his job. He needed help to get out of this whole situation. But when he didn't like the kind of help that he was getting, he went ahead and went back on that shit. All right? The Rock is the one that was supposed to help out Triple H. The Rock, felt turned away because The Rock, his ideas were not being respected in the way that he thought that they should be, especially since he was the one being special counsel, basically being called in. So that's why we have this whole situation with The Rock showing up on Pat McAfee, falling out with Dave LaGreca and all this shit. Cool. Keep that. That's exactly why it's happening, because he wants Triple H out. He'd rather he be the head of it, or he be responsible for being the head of creative in WWE. Because of all his other shit that he has going on, it's all failing. It's all crashing down around him, The Rock. Because The Rock is not an actor. He is Dwayne The Rock Johnson. So if he can get himself into this whole position, right, and he is a Vince McMahon guy. The Rock is a Vince guy, right? We know this. The Rock loves Vince McMahon, respects Vince McMahon. So, obviously, there could be something going on there with, The Rock feeling some kind of way, because Vince McMahon would let The Rock come back and do damn near whatever he wanted, because that's The Rock. But then you got Hunter here, who has this big ego, throwing his fucking Hall of Fame ceremony for himself and shit, getting himself multiple statues, multiple commemorative belts, hour-long fucking Hall of Fame speech and all this shit, just caressing his own balls at every fucking opportunity that he can. The Rock is a big ego as well, and he's not going to go for that if he's on the board of directors. The only one that's going to be swinging his nuts, unless it's the big boys up at the top, is going to be The Rock. So that's been the video for today. Let me know what y'all think about this whole situation. All right, we're going to be back with another video, most likely tomorrow. Then we'll be back, obviously, on Friday for the SmackDown review. Okay, so let me know what y'all think down below. Once again, I appreciate everybody for the well wishes and everything. We are good to go, and we're moving now. Let's do it. This has been your boy, Nate the Great, back with another video, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.